Welcome back to Voice Within. Today, I want to talk about one of the most powerful forces that shapes our lives, our own words. Not the ones we say to others, but the quiet ones we whisper to ourselves when no one's listening. Because whether we realize it or not, our self-talk, those inner conversations, are building our world every single day. The way you speak to yourself determines how you see yourself. And how you see yourself determines what you accept, what you chase, and what you become. I learned this the hard way. For years, I didn't realize that I was my own biggest critic, my harshest judge, my silent destroyer. But when I began to change how I spoke to myself, everything else began to change too. So today, I want to share that journey of how I learned to train my mouth, my mind, and my inner voice to speak life into my reality. Part 1. The voice that never stops. There's a voice that lives inside all of us. It talks when you wake up, when you look in the mirror, when you make mistakes, when you dream. It's constant, unfiltered, and deeply personal. For a long time, mine wasn't kind. When I failed, it said, "You're not enough." When I was quiet, it said, "No one notices you." When I tried, it whispered, "You'll probably mess this up again." It was so natural that I didn't even question it. I thought it was truth, but it was just repetition, a loop of old beliefs replaying in my head like a broken record. And here's the thing, when you repeat something long enough, your brain starts to believe it. It stops asking if it's real. It just assumes it is. And your actions, your confidence, your choices, they all start following that belief. So every time I told myself I couldn't, I didn't. Every time I said I was unlucky, I stopped trying. Every time I thought I wasn't good enough, I accepted less than I deserved. That's how powerful self-talk is. It becomes the script your life begins to follow. Part 2. The day I heard myself differently. One morning, I was sitting in silence, feeling defeated after something didn't work out. My thoughts were spiraling. Why do you even try? You always fail. Then, for the first time, I heard it clearly. Not as background noise, but as a voice, my voice, attacking me. And I remember thinking, if I spoke to someone else the way I speak to myself, they'd walk away. So why was I choosing to stay in that kind of relationship with my own mind? That was the day I realized something powerful. My mind wasn't my enemy. It was just untrained. Like a wild garden left unattended, my thoughts had grown weeds of doubt and fear. But if I could speak to myself differently, maybe I could start planting something new. Part 3. Words that build, not break. Changing your self-talk isn't about toxic positivity. It's not about pretending everything's perfect. It's about learning to speak truth with compassion. I started by catching my words in the act. Whenever I heard myself say, "I can't," I paused and added, "yet." When I thought, "I'm so behind," I changed it to, "I'm growing at my own pace." When I said, "I always mess things up," I softened it to, "I'm still learning, and that's okay." At first, it felt strange, like I was lying to myself. But I kept doing it. And slowly, those gentle words began to feel natural. They became my new normal. It's not magic, it's neuroscience. Your brain doesn't distinguish between what's real and what's repeated. So the more you feed it love, patience, and belief, the more it starts creating a reality that matches those words. Because your mouth is a microphone to your mind, and your mind is the architect of your life. Part 4. How words shape energy. Every word we speak carries frequency. It's not just communication, it's vibration. When you say, "I'm broken," your body listens. When you say, "I'm healing," your soul responds. Have you ever noticed how saying something negative out loud drains you, but saying something kind to yourself feels like a breath of light? That's because words are energy in motion. Think about water. Scientists have proven that even water changes structure when exposed to kind or cruel words. If words can affect water molecules, imagine what they do to your own body, your emotions, your destiny. When I started replacing self-criticism with self-encouragement, I didn't just feel better, I started seeing better things happen. Opportunities appeared, people shifted. It wasn't luck, it was alignment. Because the moment you speak differently, you start vibrating differently, and the universe always matches your vibration. Part 5. Becoming your own teacher. I started treating my self-talk as a conversation with someone I love, because that's what I wanted it to be. When I made mistakes, I'd tell myself, "You're learning." When I felt lost, I'd whisper, "You've survived every hard day so far. This one's no different." The more I practiced this, the more I realized my inner voice could either be my cage or my compass. If I trained it with patience, it could lead me anywhere. And that's the real work of healing. Not changing the world around you, but changing the words within you. Because when your self-talk becomes your strength, life stops feeling like a battle. You begin to move with grace. You stop needing external validation because you've built an inner foundation. Part 6. Advice for the listener. If you're listening right now and you've been your own worst critic, please hear me. You don't need to silence the negative voice completely. You just need to speak louder with love. Start with small things. Instead of saying, "I can't do this," say, "I'll figure it out." Instead of "I'm not good enough," say, "I'm growing into someone stronger." And when you feel like giving up, say, "I've come too far to stop now." Your words are seeds, and your mind is the soil. Whatever you plant grows. So plant what you want to see bloom. Because one day, the things you keep saying will become the life you keep living. Part 7. Universal Wisdom, the Truth About Creation. Here's what I've learned after years of practicing this. Your life doesn't respond to what you want, it responds to what you believe. And belief is built from repetition, from the words you speak over and over again until they become truth. So if you keep saying, "I'm unlucky," life will mirror that belief back to you. If you keep saying, "I attract peace," life will bend itself to prove you right. That's how powerful you are. We are all creators, and our words are our tools. Every "I am" statement you make is a declaration of creation. So be careful what follows your "I am," because the universe listens, your mind listens, your energy listens. And the story you tell yourself becomes the story you live. Thank you for spending this time with me on Voice Within. Remember, the way you speak to yourself matters more than anything else. Your words build worlds, your tongue shapes timelines, and your self-talk sets the temperature of your reality. So speak gently, speak boldly, speak truth that uplifts, not fear that limits. Because you are listening to you all the time. And when your words become loving, your life starts reflecting that love back to you. Until next time, keep speaking life, keep choosing faith, and keep listening to the voice within.